Welcome back to Game 2 of Golden Guardians versus Counter Logic Gaming Academy. Thank you so much for sticking around. We apologize for the delay, but delay no more. We are going to get into game soon, Joshi. Isn't that right?
I hope so. We're looking like it, Riv.
And getting into this next one, I don't think we're going to see a Tryndamere. I don't think we're going to really see a ban from a Tryndamere. I think that was a really sweet kind of trick up the sleeve that Golden Guardians noticed they had once they were looking at CLG's composition. And Zion's like, yes, this is going to be hilariously fun. And he had a good time on it. It seemed it. Mid lane as well for the Echo, Blaze Olive. 2 lanes we highlighted coming into this matchup. Dominated as we expected. So we're still going to be watching those and maybe the jungle matchup a little more closely here, as that had a bit to do with the intentions and advantages of those solo lanes.
Yeah, I mean, just having things like the Tryndamere pick and these kind of cheesy picks in your pocket are so good in these best of fives, because it just means that your opponent has to respect it for the entire rest of the series, and winning on it makes it even better. So I'm not expecting an early pick Gangplank to come out again from Deus this time around. I have to imagine they're going to be giving him the counter pick later on, or being very proactive in even more bans targeted towards Zion Spartan as we look at this draft. But so far, only the Camille targeting the top lane, and it's looking very similar.
Tricky. They switched around their bans at CLG. It was TF, Nidalee, Camille. No, it's Camille, Nidalee, TF. I wonder what they're up to. Well, how about for sure initiation, Joshi? That looks a little better. I like that.
Yeah, that's something really good already coming out. We touched on it in the first game as something that I always like to see from my teams, making sure you have opportunities to get fights started pretty easily. Now, the one thing that we do have to keep in mind is Chime has not yet shown us a Tahm Kench this split, and that's one of the really big things that you can do. But the Morgana, it's not as reactive. But if you got the fingers, and we know Chime's got the fingers, you can make sure that the Ash Arrow doesn't land on anyone.
And that's a #1 for Morgana as well. So he'll start to dabble a little bit more in supports. That'll be unique pick number 9 as he goes for Morgana, the Fallen Angel. Oh. I can do anything you can do better, says a Blaze Olive, as he picks up Azir for game 2. That was Tuesday's game 1 play.
Yeah, and it's very interesting to see. I mean, Azir is such a strong pick in League of Legends and has been for such a long time. Got a pretty safe matchup spread, has a reasonable early game by taking things like the Comet or the Electrocute, and an incredible late game, regardless of what keystone you end up going. And this is interesting. They're going to be locking in the Senna as well, and so they're going to have a lot of long range. It's not very often that you have 2 range characters on both sides of the bottom lane, so this can be very snowbally very quickly if one team starts being able to land some of these binds, some of this crowd control, because both teams are going to be very dangerous, and we'll have to see what junglers are going to be coming down to potentially interfere with this 2v2.
Very interesting pickups here. CLD definitely giving themselves a way to fight and a way to feel a bit more secure in those fights with a good amount of utility. Sejuani taken from Hard. These final 2 bans were support bans from Golden Guardians. This time they'll be focused towards the top. So Vladimir was at Zion last time. Now it's at Deus.
Yeah, I'm a little bit curious because Hard has not played Sejuani a single time this split. And there is not a melee champion in the mid lane, which would make the Sejuani even scarier. I feel like they're just trying to take off some of these big engage tools away from their opponents, but you know, we talk about how Deus likes to play a lot of Ornn, is also something that Zion Spartan has shown some proficiency in. And now, I'm a little bit worried. Deus going out with the Ornn as probably this R4 pick for CLG. There are a lot of good champions into Ornn. Tryndamere isn't exactly one of them, but the Fiora, the Jax, and unfortunately the Camille, which has been banned, are all things that can really push him around up in the top lane. So, I'm curious to where CLG goes from here, and that pick is banned away. So what does Deus even play from here? Wukong?
I was thinking Wukong. Wukong could still look like a flex for CLG here. Oh no, they have Ashe. Enough. They're like blending in. I'm just gonna say it blended in with the emblem up top. I was wondering where Olaf has been. So there's Olaf. Decent to early game. And okay, Trundle, so they match jungler for jungle for jungle. And they are going to give it top side. You were hoping the last pick, as CLG would pick red, would go to top. They're going to give it to Deus. Let's see what he's strong on here.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what they end up doing. They haven't locked in that Trundle. Instead, they're hovering this Graves. They end up going with the Trundle, which does make a lot of sense. It gives you a lot of tools to really interact with the Olaf. Obviously, you don't care about the Ragnarok if you just put a pillar in the way. And obviously taking away what little resistances he has when he is running around invulnerable to CC makes him very, very squishy. But now, Golden Guardians has to blind pick something for Zion Spartan, and it is looking to be that Wukong taking away Deus's 4th most played champion this split and leaving him only the potential Aatrox, something he has played so far in summer, and instead the Hecarim currently being hovered.
Break it out. Something cool. I mean, Kennen won't really work in here. Mordekaiser's good. You can get Wukong out of the fight, so he only has to spin around twice within the ultimate, as he's in the Death Realm. And I like this composition from Chronologic Gaming. Definitely more rounded to go throughout the game and not have to set any precedent throughout the early game.
Yeah, I think both teams have come out with something that they should be reasonably happy with at this point. The Olaf into the Trundle is a little bit unfortunate, but both of these team compositions are going to be looking to play very standard League of Legends. You have some engage tools, you have some flank tools, you have some split pushing tools on both sides, and so it's going to really come down to which team is going to execute better across the game. We touched on how the bottom lane is going to be very volatile with double range champions on both sides. This jungle is a little bit stacked in favor of Golden Guardians, but also the top lane, like if either Wukong or Mordekaiser start snowballing, it's very difficult for the opposing melee champion to stat check you back. So a lot of focus is going to be on these individual lanes, and unfortunately, Riv, I do have to say, Golden Guardians have been doing a little bit better than CLG in that regard so far in summer.
And a little adaptation here, not a big pickup, but you can see they were annoyed by the Morgana being on the opposite team last game. Like, stop eating my traps. They're just batteries to walk, or not batteries, but you just walk over them, and they take that Morgana. They say, well, now we're going to have an awesome laning phase with Dark Bindings and traps, so you get caught down there, and there's a very good chance you lose that lane advantage very fast. So more options there for Golden Guardians to try to come out strong. We see Zion on Wukong, probably joining the fights a little bit more, so it'll be awesome to see him kind of transition play styles here. I think a big thing for Zion and what people look at is there's the talk of a play style being ingrained into somebody who's been around for a long time. That can't change. New players are usually better. That play style will fall behind, and I think he's being able to show us that he's breaking through a ceiling again, and he's being able to vary a play style, which is super awesome, and I can't wait to see what comes out of that on the other half of this break. We are going to be stepping away to build that game delay, but when we come back, Joshi and I will bring you the game from the start. Don't go anywhere. Hello and welcome back for Game 2. Thank you for waiting patiently in the wings as we were getting Champion Select loaded up into game. Now the game delay has been made and competitive integrity is completely saved. Joshi and I will bring you the game as it goes, and it's going to be impeccably amazing.
Yeah, I said in the break there, Riv, we're going to have some League of Legends played for sure here in just a moment. Both these teams coming out with pretty standard compositions across the board. So it's really going to come down to execution. If one team builds a lead early on in the game, we can generally expect them to win later in the game. And just looking at a couple of things that have happened across this split so far, Golden Guardians are number 2 in Dragons killed, number 1 in Heralds killed, number 2 in Drags at 15 minutes, and number 1 at Tower differential at 15, and also Gold differential at 15. So, with that said, both compositions doing very similar things. I'm going to have to say, I think Golden Guardians is in a fantastic spot to take this through.
A lot of... I always see in League of Legends, or everybody sees in League of Legends, that a team can have a well-defined early game, and most of the time, teams will, right? They know what to do early game, whether it's their game plan or not. Maybe they'll come out on top, maybe they come out halfway through. But then the mid game always seems more muddled. It seems more chaotic, you know. And I never understand what that's about. Maybe it's because that focus of the early game is always there, and then mid game transitions, and you can't exactly practice what you want to practice. But it is awesome to see that Golden Guardians has been continuing that flow all throughout the game when they have control. Everything they're doing has a meaning to it, and there's a method to the madness. When Zion only stays top, Zion now should be joining this game. So we'll see again if this game they can transition to fluidly and continue to do that, because a lot of times closing out the game has been an issue.
Yeah, and I think we touched on it very briefly towards the end of our last game. CLG, while they made mechanical mistakes, were generally, as far as I could tell, in the right places at the right times for these fights. They were able to pick up the first 2 dragons, and like I like to say, nothing in League of Legends should come for free, and CLG was, for a good part of the game, always taking something back until they got wiped in back-to-back team fights and the game kind of crumbled. But this time, I think if you're going to be playing standard League of Legends and they don't crumble in the early game, I like the way that they play the mid and later games a little bit better than what I've been seeing from Golden Guardians. So, again, I think I like Golden Guardians' chances, but I don't want to count CLG out just quite yet. There is a reason why they got to a perfectly even, I believe it was 9-9 score, is because they play consistently. They play decent, solid League of Legends, and if they can continue to do that, they might go to 5 games.
We do need to see a game that shows us this is a 4th versus 5th seed, right? It looked a little bit wider of a gap during that first game, but yeah, CLG is right there. As I said before, a team that was taking on Counterlogic Gaming for 2nd place, right, in 2018 summer. So there's different things going on behind the scenes when trying to pull yourself up and get that much better.
Yeah, I'm going to be excited. I want to see a lot of action in this bottom lane. I think both Olaf and Trundle can bring a lot to the table. There is enough gank assist on both sides for, realistically, just about anybody in the bottom lane can blow up super quickly. I mean, it's just a truism of League of Legends that ranged champions don't have a whole lot of health or armor or magic resistance built into their kits because they're expected to rely on their range to actually keep them alive. And that just means that if this Trundle or Olaf comes down and gets on top of them, going to be able to pick up that kill relatively cleanly.
And I think this will play better for Fragus. He's been playing the aggressive. He's been playing the Vi. He's been wanting to get in. So this will definitely play to his kind of a wheelhouse more than running up to lane and scurrying at somebody, having to flash, having to make sure he has a shield on him. We've seen the style of Counterlogic Gaming all year long be initiation, be to get into the fight and control it. So hopefully they can start doing that, because looking at how kind of Wind has been able to pick up with Phil on the bot side isn't controlling lanes. It's usually not a winning side for them, but it's not being a completely losing side either. They just need more points to play through, right? To bring up a different team, we see the change in what 100 Thieves have brought in. Kenvi is a different person to play through, right? And you can create those opportunities by switching play styles. It's a little late in the season, but in the best of 5 series, we kind of saw it in game 1. It flex a little bit more in game 2. Game 3, we'll see what they can do.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we've seen it. Wind has played so many different champions so far. The split 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And now this Ashe, that makes 11. So he's got a
True.
lot of opportunities to bring out different things, lots of different opportunities to fulfill different roles within his position. And I think CLG could potentially find some opportunities here. And looking at Phil as well, he's done a very similar thing. He had 10 during the regular split. This Morgana makes 11 as well. So very adaptable bottom half of the map. And hopefully they can show us just how powerful that can be.
Yeah, there you go. Bringing those things out, as I was just saying, trying a little bit more in the playoffs, and they are. So there you go. Request fulfilled. Don't even have to worry about it anymore. Still waiting just to get into the game right now as we load in. Appreciate your patience. Myself and Joshi here about to bring you the games live. Golden Guardians Academy coming out with game 1 in pretty clean fashion. I'd say it was the Zion Spartan show. We saw Keith at one point getting a quadra kill out. And again, if you watched, when we watched the replay back, Zion Spartan had everybody's attention. He was running around, shouting his face off on Tryndamere. And they also used the Echo and Tryndamere at level 6 to get to top lane. So we saw Joshi Golden Guardians having a plan in game 1. And we'll see how quickly they set into motion their plan in game 2.
Yeah, they don't have the same kind of obvious tools to do.
We press R at 6. Here we go.
Yeah, the dive isn't as easy. They aren't going to have the same invulnerabilities to play with. So I wonder if instead we're going to be focused more on a little bit on the jungle matchup, right? I mean, you do have the Olaf versus the Trundle. Both these guys just kind of meatballs that swing at each other. Trundle's going to take a lot of Olaf's stats. So he's a little bit of a smaller meatball than he was previously, but we're going to be loading onto the Rift right now. Here we go. Game 2.
Make me hungry. I made some meatballs last night. They're delicious.
Ooh.
Yeah. So I got delivery, and the meatballs were so bad. I called my father, and I was like, give me Mom's recipe right now. She is, God bless her, an amazing Italian cook. I miss her food so much, and can get it back with those meatballs. Anyways, meatballs in our game, they're just as good. I promise you. And they're going to be swinging away here in just a few minutes. We're starting off our game number 2. Your 4th seed Golden Guardians versus 5th seed Counterlogic Gaming here in Academy. Myself, Rivington III, and Joshi bringing you the games as they happen. In game 1, the momentum to Golden Guardians, you could say. A lot of momentum. So if CLG can put up a brick wall here, they will really be able to even out the series in score and in mentality.
Here we go. CLG looking to potentially late invade on the bottom half or potentially just spot out hard as he moves around. They do have a pretty powerful level 1 coming through. Obviously, Olaf's Axe is very scary, and the slow up by Wynn's auto attacks allows him to stick to people, but are they going to be going in? Hard seems to smell that something is up. Yeah, there you go. Going to be backing away. Going to be keeping him A-okay, but this does buy a lot of time for Hard, and this gives Frogs a couple of options. Does he want to commit to the vertical jungle? Does he want to take this side of the jungle and then run through mid in order to make sure that Hard can't pick up a red buff? We'll have to see what he decides to do, as Phil going to be kept a little bit out of this lane as he comes to lane late, and Chime with the power of the Morgana. You see that Phil also losing a lot of time, not going to be hitting level 2 when he wants to.
Yeah.
And so interesting start.
I like this from Fragus here. Villain, as they try to keep themselves safe, they don't want any extra pressure. If Hard's not going to be able to farm this bot side of the jungle, that's great for them, because Hard coming in on top of a bind, on top of a trap, on top of a pillar is not something they want to see. So if Fragus can control this, Hard doesn't have the ability to gank Wind and Phil. So good start. I like what it does. It does leave Fragus out in the open a bit, and you're going to get a Blaze Olive pushing in Tuesday. So Fragus is going to be on solo missions here for a little bit to try and create that one-man pressure for bot lane.
Here we go. This is why Ashe is so annoying. The hawk shot comes through, spots exactly where Hard is. Yeah, no surprises here, but it also tells you, depending on where he goes from here, whether he chooses to go to Krugs or chooses to potentially leave. And so since you didn't see him go up towards the Krugs, you can know, and obviously this ward helps as well, but you can know that Deus is a little bit safer than he would be otherwise. And I feel like this early game kind of coming out to mostly a wash, but a very small lead going in favor of Golden Guardians, mostly coming out from the CS differential in the solo lanes at this point, where you see Tuesday needs to clean up most of this if he wants to even out the CS differential, and a small lead also going over to Zion.
Wait, can he get the autos on that? Okay, he got a few, still with pressure, but he disonanced that entire back wave, meaning if a turret shot hit it, he would get hit, but he wanted to buy more time for himself away from the turret than he did at the turret. That's just free damage for a Blaze Olive, so you get out with what you can.
And here we go. Actually going right on back to a very small lead in favor of CLG at this point as they pick up all of those waves. Obviously we didn't get to see the top side, but Deus was able to pick all of that back up, and this is going to be a dangerous spot as a top lane main. Gotta pay attention to where that wave is going. The wave bounced off the turret of Deus, and now he's going to be coming really far out, and not a very mobile champion up in the top lane, so potentially look at Hard throwing down the pillar and making Deus miserable.
Cannon wave dive. If they can kill him on this one or get him off the cannon at least, it's going to be big money. I mean, not for Deus, of course. Hard. Ooh! You know, I'm always super impressed at how close they can get without taking a shot. And then it feels good when they do, because you always take a shot when you go in. You're like, one of us, yes, yes.
Yes, you're still mortal.
Yes. But yeah, still great pressure there. Like we said, they get Deus off a bit of the minion wave, which still helps. And he should be able to clean up quite a bit, though, when he comes in. They're letting this go in. Now that the caster minions have built up here, Zion Spartan can just let this freeze.
Yeah, it's a very dangerous spot, but the other side is very dangerous as well. Froggus is here. There is a wave, but it doesn't look like they're going to be willing to commit to that. Not knowing where Hard is and knowing that he reset after punching Deus in the face a couple of times means that they could be looking at a 3v3, which is not what you want to do in a dive.
Oh! No, it was such a late trap by Keith, and those traps were down. He was in the middle of... Oh, I could see the mindset. He had already committed to shooting and then Peacemaker, and then... Oh, you hate to see it. Great move, though, by Phil to make his way out of that damage, though. Chime hitting the Dark Binding so close to turret, and they had the whole lane to run him down. Tuesday back to mid on TP, and we'll probably get the same thing out of a Blaze Olive here.
Have to imagine, there it is, coming right on back. Is this game looking to be pretty even across the board? Small lead going in favor of CLG, but Deus potentially getting collapsed, and once again, Hard stats on a ward, and that just means that this aggression likely going to fizzle out here, but Hard is going to do anything. He's going to just clear out some wards and just make Deus a little bit sad, because he doesn't know where the jungler is, but the little bit of time they do see him is going to be giving CLG another dragon.
Yeah,
that's what I was expecting.
CLG doing some good work here in the early game. Is other sides of the map being focused. Game 1, they get Drake. Didn't pay off. Game 2, they get Drake, so they get Infernal on this. And it may be a mountain or ocean that changes our Rift coming in here as Cloud spawns in 4.5 minutes. And this bot side jungle so far for Fraggus pays off a little bit. Protection for his marksmen. Markswomen, I should say, in the bot side. And he gets to control the Drake so far. As again, he's back into the jungle, and now it looks like Chime wants to do something about it, but they're on the Golden Guardian side doing something about top lane. Deus goes down as it is deja vu here in game 2 for Deus.
Yeah, what a tough time to be Deus playing League of Legends right now. He was so close to level 6. You knew if he stayed alive for a couple more minutes,
right?
yeah, he's going to be able to ult them and turn that into a 1v1 with the turret in his favor. But no, Golden Guardians have it down to the second they go in. They take him down before he can do any of that. And now Froggus might be in a little bit of an awkward situation. We'll have to flash out of this from the pressure of Keith and Chime.
He blasts himself over. Traps are on the right. Froggus going to have to go top side.
Oh, he gets it!
Oh, he's no red! That's a dead Froggus. Oh, he has to flash out on that. That's going to be slow Phil on the way out. Gives himself a bit of movement speed. Peacemaker's not going to be able to finish Froggus as it just misses. And he had no rights getting out alive, but he did. Because he's a bro, and he gets himself back to jungling. Obviously, Vicious Strike's going to get him back up in HP as he is using that passive to keep farming.
Yeah, all right, we're going to look at this dive again, and you have to remember, with so many minions here, Deus so close to hitting level 6. If he was able to get a couple of those minions to die to the turret, he probably would have been able to survive that dive, but not going to be able to do it. And I was just saying, CLG are good at making sure things don't happen for free in League of Legends. They were trying to take away the bottom half of the jungle. They tried to take away the red buff, but Keith able to pick up the red buff with his auto attack. Yeah, that's not good. That's not good, Riv.
They didn't like that at all. So Keith coming up big on this one for the bot side. And we were hoping for CLG that they would be able to promote a little bit more from their lanes. Here, the selections aren't really going to promote that as much. Wind and Phil can take control of the lane, but right now they're more so farming out to the fight phase. And a Blaze Olive 82 to 78, not too far above his opponent. 68 to 51 though for Zion Spartan over Deus here as they get that first gank down. And with that gank we saw top, Deus instantly went to claw grab and clear the wave, so he had no CC coming in. Wave didn't fully get cleared. It was really unfortunate for him, and Golden Guardians clamping down at just the right time. Deus just off of having his ward down here, so again, it's dark on that top side. He's got to be careful as he plays to the middle of this lane all the time.
Yeah, but Hard doing this Rift Herald on a ward, and it doesn't look like he's figured that out. So, is CLG going to be doing anything with this information? Unfortunately, there's nobody showing from Golden Guardians in the bottom half of the map. They know that they are the play. They know that they are the ones that need to be careful. And I think Frogus's window is closed. There's no dragon coming up in a minute and a half. And this is one of those few things in League of Legends that might be going over effectively for free. A chicken camp is not worth a Rift Herald at this point in the game. So, all advantages once again going in favor of Golden Guardians.
Okay, we'll take a Drake, but you'll get maybe a lot of plates out of this. And then maybe that does pay off more, because Golden Guardians is usually doing a few more things when they're doing Rift Herald, or putting that Rift Herald down for use. They'll already be pushing bot, they'll have something happening mid, so the return on investment is quite big as we see some completed items coming in for the supports. It is about that time. And a lot of money here for the markswoman on the map so far. Actually, all ladies in the bot lane. Look at this.
Yeah.
Whether fallen angels or souls or what have you, queens, sheriffs. got a big variety. Deus getting out of that one alive. Ultimate for him. Teleport's not up, but neither is it for Zion.
Yeah. I mean, good for Deus not actually having to blow anything in that spot, because you know that if he uses his ultimate, uses his flash, and doesn't get a kill off of it, it's just going to mean another dive coming out for Blaze Olive and Hard. So the patience is there. He is down a little bit, and you see that he has opted to go for the Bramble Vest, a very efficient item with the armor, making sure that Zion hurts himself every single time he auto attacks, as well as playing that Grievous Wound. So going to be a very effective item overall. And if you look at all the champions that are on the Golden Guardian side, like this Bramble Vest is going to be very useful. You have a bunch of auto attackers, including Hard and Keith, and doesn't do anything against the Blaze Olive, but you know, the spirit is there at the very least.
Yeah, nice but Grievous Wounds on Hard as well. Blaze Olive gets the Rift mid, so this is twice focus Rift on mid lane for Golden Guardians. Last time it was around a Drake. Here it looks like they're doing that for Cloud. And I think Tuesday is going to be able to join the fight still. No real forward wards placed. There's one. Blaze Olive gets it in. He says, yeah, you're not going to push up that easy. Pink ward goes down to the other side as CLG starts. Roam from top, Joshi.
Yeah, there's a teleport available for Deus, and it's not there for Zion Spartan. The pink ward that I was looking at as the flank isn't there, but now they're fighting Tuesday.
There's the Emperor's Divide, pushes him back. Blaze takes a few hits. He goes Sombrero style with the ultimate and Command Shockwave, and it's a few soldiers just spearing down Tuesday. Flash is gone on that one as well. And now Fragus is trying to search somebody out or get the upper hand on a straggler through these rotations. It doesn't look like he'll find it just now. Once again, protecting the bot side so they can get a plate on this. And he's just standing guard here as no one is found coming through.
Yeah, it's interesting to me that Golden Guardians aren't going to try and chain that into the Dragon. Instead, Zion is going to go back top lane. I mean, he does have a teleport, he does have his ultimate available, and now I wonder if they actually saw that this Dragon got started, because just because you have the ward there doesn't necessarily mean you're looking, and if you don't see Frogus on the map, you might not assume that they're hitting it. So, they know now, but it's too late for Golden Guardians. The second Dragon going over CLG, and what is it? Is another Mountain Dragon. They find Hard.
Oh, Hard goes in, Subjugate goes down, so he's got a bit more stats, but is it enough? Arrow goes by, just setting a chill over the fight, but it is going to be CLG trying to gain numbers on this one as the Blaze Olive shuffles in. The damage is going down, wind falls, but so does Hard. And it's going to be a fight on the top side, mano and mano. As they go in, that's going to be the Death Realm going down on a Zion Spartan as he double Cyclones down, but is it enough? We're feeling the breeze coast to coast on this one. Oh, he gets him down with the shield. He just cuts him up with the metal shards flying around. To Blaze Olive now trying to walk out of this clockwork wind-up as the mechanics of Tuesday get a bit of revenge as he comes back all the way from the grave to enter this fight again.
And we weren't expecting that at all. I mean, I was not looking at Deus or Tuesday to solo kill their lane opponents in this game. You saw that Deus goes through, he stops the teleport with his ultimate, and then he keeps Zion Spartan in the death cage for long enough to actually pick it up. And Tuesday, we'll see it again in a replay in just a moment, but getting the shockwave down as the Blaze Olive is trying to get out means that Zir has no escapes left, and he's forced to stand and deliver, and Tuesday just has the damage necessary. And I'm excited. CLG is looking good. This game is dead even, and this is when we often look at them as having these really good movements around the map to start picking up these objectives. 2 dragons already in their pocket just means that the Soul becomes a very real win condition very early in this game.
Absolutely. The third one coming in is Mountain. He'll make him feel nice, and these are my favorite kinds of fights. These compositions that put fights together that want to go hard right at 6 and 7, and the death timers are so short that we usually see people come back into fight pretty quick.
Yeah, here we go. And it just goes so long. There's just not a ton of damage coming from these members, and so the fights take a long time. You saw the teleport canceled there, and Deus, I mean, even though he's down a level, his champion is just this big stat stick, and you see just walking forward, making sure he keeps the passive down. It's going to be enough, and here it is. Watch this shockwave right as the Blaze Olive tries to get out. He's got nowhere to go. He's just gone, and now Froggus comes to the top lane, but he is spotted on a ward, so I think we're going to take just a moment to chill here in just a moment.
Uh-oh.
Oh, just kidding.
Cyclone
just kidding.
number 1. Cyclone number 2. Oh, it's just fair weather here for Deus. He doesn't give a crap about the damage that Zion's trying to do on this one. That's a whole lot of damage, though, going on to Fraggus. And hard, he's got 3 soldiers out. He's got the attack speed boost. He is cutting. He is slicing. But it is not a care in the world to Deus as he gets the 3rd kill in a solo fight topside. Fraggus went down early enough to call it. Deus was doing everything himself.
Wow, this is looking pretty similar to a couple of games we saw earlier today here, Rivington. Unfortunately, it's going against Golden Guardians this time, as now you have a 4-1 Mordekaiser. Got the completed Leandri's Torment, and he's going to be so scary for this front line of Golden Guardians to deal with, because it's very difficult to get onto Ashe. It's very difficult to get onto the Orion, and when you got this big metal monster standing in the way, 2 turrets going down, and suddenly a huge gold lead going in favor of CLG, and it had nothing to do with the bottom lane like we were thinking.
Nope. Didn't even need the arrows, didn't need anything, just a mace and almost an ace coming in from Deus by himself. This is the kind of stuff you see, just magic right now. So we'll see this. Fraggus does come in. So it isn't exactly a 3v1, but Fraggus gets melted so quick it might as well be.
Yeah, I mean, you see Deus, he doesn't even have his ultimate. It comes up towards the very end, and it allows him to take all the stats that Zion Spartan had built up. And while they turn on to Froggus, which is really good, you got to keep him off the back line. Blaze Olive just steps a little bit too close, and that Claw of Death going to be enough. And here we go. Does the red buff actually take him down? Yeah, it does. That's a lot of damage coming through.
So we rewashing, it's like a 2.5. Fraggus did a lot of damage to a Blaze Olive.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah. Gotta give him credit. Gotta give him credit.
He helped. He helped. Look at that.
He absolutely helped. He absolutely helped. I was still hyped for Deus, though, in that fight.
It was. It was still pretty hype.
That was super hype.
Can they carry the hype through, Riv? We got 30 seconds left until this Mountain Dragon comes up, and that is 1 dragon away from Soul Point. And we thought that Deus was difficult to kill previously. Just imagine him when he's got the Mountain Soul on his back. But are they not going to contest it? Do they do this quickly enough? Yeah, they should. They should. They just got to be careful. They're not going to have an opportunity to get an extra back in, because the fight is about to start. But they are going to be there for the fight. And with this massive front line, I think CLG are in a pretty good spot to take this through.
This is exactly what we wanted to see from CLG. Setting the pace early, transitioning it into mid-game, making that advantage work. Here, Rift Herald mid. Hopefully they don't lose a dive on this onto the Sun Disc. That would be a great waste of the HP. And they are going to actually get that use out. Fight goes down towards the Drake area. Deus is going to be pushing himself in a little bit, as he does have Hard in the Death Realm, but he's going to be coming out quite soon. Hard's calling for help from the team. Deus gets the kill. Big shield on build up there, but he's not going to be able to get it out on CD. And it is him going down. That's a big shutdown. Bounty going over to the side of Keith, as you saw that shutdown on the kill emblem. That sword driving into the ground means he's getting a bunch of gold off that kill. And now CLG is able to turn around, though, and get a dragon uncontested. Mid lane's going to get a little love on it here from Golden Guardians as they trade back and forth, and both teams are trying to work around each other, knowing fights are only going to result in everyone laying on the floor.
Yeah, I mean, I have to wonder if that was all good. Like, if you just looked at it and nobody had any dragons, I think I would be a little bit disappointed in CLG looking at that. They give over a big shutdown like you touched on. They give over the mid turret to get a mountain dragon. But it's not just a mountain dragon, it's the third dragon. It puts you one away from Soul, a massive win condition, and so while it's a theoretical even trade of material on the map, it gives you so many possibilities later on in the game.
Yeah.
Now, I want to take a quick moment to look at the rest of the map. Yeah, Deus is cool. Yeah, he's doing a lot. Zion Spartan's not hard carrying this one all by himself, but there's a lot of other people, and we'll get to that. Keith, good flash coming out from this. All right, okay, producers, we'll come back to that. Hard gets jumped on right here, and this is big, right? If you're going to be picking up the dragon, you want to make sure there's no opportunity of a smite steal. Taking down Hard here just means that there's no opportunity for them to come back and potentially contest this dragon. He almost takes down multiple members. Chime also goes incredibly low. But now we're looking at the rest of the map, and we're looking at the non-freak build, the one that doesn't have the Storm Razor coming up from Caitlyn. So she is weak as heck right now, where a lot of items are starting to come through. Tuesday has almost got his Rabadons done. Wynn has his Blade of the Ruin King done. It's very efficient, and he's going to be in a pretty good spot coming up fairly soon. And so, with Deus being so strong on the map, it makes it pretty difficult for Golden Guardians to exist in a lot of places, to look for these fights until Azir, until Caitlyn have another item that they can start tearing through Froggies, that they can start tearing through Deus. And as long as CLG is to the objective first, it's going to be a big challenge for Golden Guardians to come in, and now CLG doing just that, going over to the top. Ooh, do they find somebody? Not quite.
Oh, Dark Binding just misses, even having to get around the pillar there. So ultimates are up across the board. Ignite is down for Chime, Flash is down for Keith, and Flash is down for Phil. So the majority of summoners up, as well as core items are now completed here. In a possible big first fight for our objective. Traps are laid in the jungle. I like this, but nobody's gonna eventually, as soon as you see them coming out of the brush, nobody's walking in there, and the Dark Binding is gonna have to hit. And beyond the Dark Binding, you're engaging into darkness. So that's actually a very scary place CLG setting up for themselves. But hey, if it pays off, I'm eating crow, right? They back off of it though. They're trying to get vision top, but it doesn't seem like Golden Guardians has put enough vision forward. They just have to wait for everybody to get out of base, and I think we'll see them moving forward a bit here. You see intentions in the inventory, about 6 pink wards ready to be placed down as they're moving forward here.
Yeah, but it might be too late. CLG is already hitting this. They don't do it super quickly without Ashe, and now Blaze Olive walking over is going to discourage them. But it just goes to show the kind of plays a CLG can look to make right now on the map. Orianna just picked up the Rabadon, so you know she's going to get stronger, but she is on a pretty decent power spike right now. I think that play might have worked if instead of Orianna chilling at the Baron hitting it, if Ashe had been there with the Blade of the Ruin King, it might have been a little bit faster. You might be able to sneak it a little bit more effectively. But as it is, I don't think CLG are particularly upset with letting this game go a little bit later, because they do still get stronger on 3 items. But they just got to make sure they do it before Golden Guardians start hitting items 4 and 5, because at that point the team fights are very difficult for Olaf and Mordekaiser to navigate.
Randu and Zoman now for Fraggus. He can try to get into that back line and make Keith's life a living hell. Let's see, level 12 to level 11 in the jungle there. Fraggus is above. Deus, you know, in the beginning we said Deus was not having a fun series. I mean, he himself, he's doing well. He's just getting picked on. Now he's saying, nope, let me shake that off, and I am going to control this game myself. It has been a top lane controlled series so far, with Zion Spartan controlling game 1 with Tryndamere, and now Deus, just Mordekaiser in the top lane, has almost a 3v1, 5-2 already, and he's double item, 22.5 minutes in here. They're trying to tempt this fight from the side of GG, as it is all about the Drake in 20 seconds. Zion Spartan has a pretty good flank here, but I don't know if the fight's going to happen anywhere near him for it to count. He's still trying to route around the team. Getting it back here. possibly maybe a different type of teleport and a home guard rush into the fight is what he may be looking for. Still hanging off in the wing though, they wait. Pink Ward goes down. Oh no, he walked into it. They're gonna turn tide on this one. What a placement coming in there, and CLG saves themselves a lot of grief of what could come from that flank.
But Frogis doesn't have his ultimate here. He doesn't have the CC resistance, and now Mordekaiser's in.
Drake's going low. Emperor's Divide shoves him back. Huge play here by a Blaze Olive. The shockwave goes through and takes him down. Who's going to get the Drake? That's Fragus. Is there now on Soul? This is huge. Deus, can he make the fight happen? Claws him back, but he's going to go down. The kill's coming in from Fragus now. Another undertow goes forward. Chime sucked underwater. One more just on his coattails. Will it hit? I think Chime can walk out of range of this one. No, he does clip him just on the side. Fragus, oh, why does he miss that one though? As the Black Shield comes up, it wouldn't have mattered anyway. This thing lasts forever. One more coming through. They're going to finalize it. Somebody make Baron mad to make the kill. Oh, he did! Let him kill him!
Disrespectful.
No, you got to move so it can go.
That's
come on, man.
Disrespectful, CLG, but it is going to be enough. They're going to be able to take it down.
I love it.
Oh boy, okay, hold on. Did they actually do this in time? This is a very slow group of 3 people to do it. Teleport coming through from Keith, and potentially teleport coming through from Blaze Olive as well. Yeah, they're both coming here. Are they going to be able to be there in time? Wind is still walking out of base, and Davis is just teleporting.
Joshi, this is big. Fragus is in the pit. He's getting hit up so much, so his damage is also taken down from being the closest one to Baron, and he's trying to do damage back on Zion's That's the clone! Zion's next to the Baron now, and he's taking more damage. What are they doing, Joshi? Oh my word, Golden Guardians! CLG just left Baron pit, watched Golden Guardians die, and walked back in.
Oh man, I need to watch what Keith and Blaze Olive were doing during the fight, because all I was looking at was Zion trying to kill Frogis and failing to do so. Alright, here's the Dragon fight.
Drake.
Yeah, this looks really good from Blaze Olive. They get 3 people caught in, but Phil is able to get out. And because there's no real tanks on the side of Golden Guardians, he does have enough damage with Frogis next to him. I mean, obviously, Deus did a lot of work, buying a ton of time, and then they're just able to slowly run this guy down. But overall, things are really looking good for CLG. They're playing this mid-game smart. They're being in the places they need to be first, and they have a number of champions that they can start beating down these turrets with. We're going to pay attention to how quickly they can actually get some of these structures down, because again, they are working against the clock. Azir late game is insane. Caitlyn late game is insane, and Trundle is going to make the already weak late game that this Olaf has into something that's even worse. So CLG looking to take a lot of this down, looking to pick up a lot of things. On the flip side, Zion Spartan potentially looking for an opportunity to get this flank as an arrow sails wide, but still gives a small opportunity for Golden Guardian to continue clearing these waves.
CLG is pushing with ferocity right now. They are angry about game 1. They said it was a fluke. And here, I mentioned it in the beginning that a team can control the early game, transition fluidly to the mid game, transition to their end game, and CLG is having no problem doing that and understanding how far ahead they actually are. 6,000 gold in the lead, 12 kills to 7 here, setting up some bounties. And the bot lane coming up pretty big here with Phil's transitions around the map. He's able to pick up a few kills for himself. It hasn't been the laning phase for CLG, but once they can break that, once they can start scattering their opponent, that initiation comp and that control they put on the game can throw their opponents for a loop. And Golden Guardians, I don't think, expected that this game at all.
Yeah, this is going to be big, but they do need to break at least one of these inhibitors. They do need the map pressure that comes from it. They're going to be able to get the top lane inhibitor turret down by Deus, and they're going to be able to get the bottom lane inhibitor turret down, but they got to pick up these inhibitors. And look, a Blaze Olive able to dissuade people, and CLG playing a little bit cautiously on the bottom half of the map. They are going to be able to get the top inhibitor down finally, and now people can start transitioning to group back up for these team fights. And that's exactly what they can look to do, is they finally take down all 3 inhibitor turrets. They're going to be taking down all 3 inhibitors, and Riv, I think this might be the checkmate coming out from CLG as they start to collapse a ton of these waves all at the same time, and they can back away. At this point, they got everything they came for, and now they have a ton of gold to spend with a minute and a half left before the Elder Dragon spawns, where, I mean, already one game-ending objective is done. You got 3 inhibitor turrets. You can wait just a little bit in order to make sure that you can have no chance whatsoever for Golden Guardians to come back.
28 minutes on the clock. Everything pushing now for CLG and Golden Guardians backs against the wall. They have a composition that scales slightly. I mean, Azir has a lot of room to grow, but I don't think that's going to work. There's just so much power coming out of CLG, and they are not giving Golden Guardians an inch here. And this is exactly what we need to see from CLG. First game was a few first picks, as we saw. You know, coming through. I think this is well for going down to Fragus, the Olaf. Right, yep, this is his first Olaf. That Morgana was Phil's first Morgana for the summer split. So just looking at them kind of flex the way they're doing things, the players that they flexed out recently, and I talked a little bit about how that, just a few games with the main team, talking with the LCS team, how to calm from mid lane and how to calm from jungle has affected a few things. And it seems like the confidence in CLG is still there even after Golden Guardians had that game won. But I guess, Joshi, if you can point to it being Tryndamere, does it feel that bad? You're like, okay, that was Tryndamere, we messed up. It kind of, maybe it levels it out for them.
Yeah, I mean, I think their mental's got to be in a good spot right now. They're bringing in multiple waves. The top lane and the mid lane are going to be crashing at similar times, so there's a lot of super minions for the Golden Guardians to deal with, and they don't deal with it all that quickly, which is going to give CLG a lot of time on this Elder Dragon, and they can't really full contest as Golden Guardians. They gotta be very wary of these super minions, but this is an opportunity. Golden Guardians pick this up. They can really turn this game around, but they gotta find this smite, and look at how far away Hard is.
Oh my word, Zion Spartan is taking command moves from Tuesday and almost dying. The shockwave nearly zeroes out Golden Guardians where they stand. And CLG has the easy follow-up damage on that. Ablaze Olive is whacking away at the base, but he's not going to be able to do much. Teleport is now coming in from Deus as he says, hello, good sir. You can shift me around all you want. I am the emperor of this domain. And he actually might be in some trouble. Oh, he flashed it. He's going to live. You got to be kidding me. He is just toying with his food. That's going to be an ace coming in for Counterlogic Gaming. They fight back hard in game 2, and they even up this series at 1-1.
Wow, what a great game coming out from CLG there. I was really excited to see that they were able to play this solid mid game and just bring it home. Now, it's not as exciting, I have to say. Like, just the way that CLG play, it's not as flashy as what Golden Guardians do. They play standard League of Legends, they rotate around, and they do it well. And I'm excited to see that as long as things don't go bottoms up very early on, they're going to be able to play that way, and I think we're going to have to really focus in again on the solo lanes, see if Golden Guardians can manufacture more leads once again like they did in Game 1.
It has to happen either way. I think they're still going to be focusing on the side lanes. We did see that last pick from red side going to Mord. You can't stress enough that CLG wanted that coming in. There were no subs. They said red side. And their last pick was the pick they were able to gain priority with.
Yeah, and I was excited. Just as you touched on, there are a lot of new champions coming out for CLG this split. A bunch of these have not been played by these guys in summer, and that's going to be giving them an opportunity to put a little bit of doubt in the mind of Golden Guardians, just as the Tryndamere pick did. It's like, wait a second, we didn't prep for that. We didn't think they were going to be picking that champion. And now Golden Guardians got to be very careful about what they're actually going to be bringing to the table as we start looking at games 3, 4, and potentially even 5.
And we look at how this one played out, right? CLG wanting to fight, wanting to skirmish. We go back to 12:30, and a fight across the map just played out continuously. And this is the stuff I love to see in the beginning of a game.
Yeah, I mean, it's really exciting to see because it takes, this fight takes a long time. Tuesday had previously gone down. Fragus is able to walk out of this fight, and a couple people end up dying. But the big thing is, again, Deus and CLG making these small micro mechanical decisions that go in their favor this time. And it's such a big difference, right? We said it was just a bunch of small micro mechanical decisions that ended up costing them game 1. And this time they are on the right side of this micro mechanical decisions, and they come out on top in a big way.
We talk about Deus there. Honestly, to the double kills, the triple kills, we should call him Treus coming into the next game maybe. But he had highlights all game long. This man was on top.
Another one.
Impact plays more and more. This was the one that kind of turned into a 3v1 after Fragus went down, but did great damage to Ablaze Olive. And you can see Zion saying, well, whoops, Death round lasted a bit longer than I thought, and then he just goes to wall up the rest of the team. Deus was having fun.
Yeah, I think at this point, I don't think the game was over right now, but sometimes it's not just about the physical magic and true damage you do to your opponents. You gotta start taking into account the mental damage that you're doing.
Yeah.
Here, you gotta think Golden Guardians are worried. They committed 3 people to the top lane, they lose a 3v2, and suddenly Deus becomes a huge problem. We see, once again, this is that fight where he goes on hard. I'm like, is that necessarily a good play? Yeah, because it puts them 1 away from the Dragon Soul. It gets them very close to actually ending the game, and later on here we see once again Deus running down the jungler. You can't smite through a suppression. Deus is just running the Trundle away. Froggus has an easy smite to himself, and we all know how the game goes from here. It becomes very difficult for Golden Guardians to play out the rest of that game.
Counter logic, Joshi. They knew what they were doing.
Counter
They absolutely
logic.
knew what they were doing. And obviously, we always have to look one more time at that final team fight as it plays out. Sometimes you just know it's coming, but still you're excited to watch it because CLG was so far ahead, and it's like the culmination of all your power comes together in one fight, and you hit the shockwave, you hit the ults, and everything comes together.
Yeah, I was going to say, was that a fire or a massacre? They just come out and instantly blow everyone up. I mean, there's not a whole lot that Caitlyn and Morgana can do to that flank, and Deus, like, look at that confidence at that point. Like, you know Deus is having fun this game as compared to the first game, and just what a world of difference the good mental state can have for your games. I'm excited to see how Deus ends up playing in Game 3, because I think we have a real top lane fight on our hands now.
That's a huge point. I think the mental capacity, how far you can take something like that and being ganked over and over again, and then have it happen in the next game, and know it doesn't mean much. You're still going to be very impactful, and he was. Deus pretty much carried that one. So Zion Game 1, Deus in Game 2. Top lane has had fame here in this series of Golden Guardians versus Counter Logic Gaming. It's all tied up at 1-1. We're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we will have Game 3 here of this best of 5. Don't go anywhere.